Tonya Harding. From the moment she first stepped onto the ice in Portland, Oregon, Tonya Harding stood out from the polished world that normally produced elite figure skaters. She did not grow up surrounded by wealthy sponsors or prestigious training centers. Instead, she trained in modest local rinks, developing a skating style driven by power, speed, and sheer determination. By the early 1990s, that determination had pushed her to the front of American figure skating. And Harding became the first American woman to successfully land a triple axel in international competition, a jump so technically demanding that very few skaters in the world had ever attempted it. The moment redefined what female skaters were capable of performing and immediately turned Harding into a national sports figure. In 1991, she captured the U.S. Figure Skating Championship and followed it with a silver medal at the World Championships the same year. For American skating, she symbolized a shift toward a more athletic era of competition, one where power and risk could rival elegance. At that point, many observers believed she would become one of the defining athletes of the upcoming Winter Olympics. Everything collapsed in early 1994 in a way that stunned both sports fans and the wider public. Just before the U.S. Figure Skating Championships in Detroit, Harding's chief rival Nancy Kerrigan was attacked after a practice session, or struck on the knee by a man carrying a metal baton. Television cameras captured Kerrigan crying out in pain in the hallway, footage that spread across news broadcasts around the world. What began as a shocking act of violence soon turned into one of the most bizarre scandals in sports history. Investigators discovered that the attackers had ties to Harding's ex-husband, Jeff Gillooly, and one of his associates. Suddenly, the upcoming Winter Olympics were no longer just a sporting event. So they became a global spectacle where millions watched to see how the story would unfold. Harding denied planning the attack, but later admitted she helped conceal information afterward. She eventually pleaded guilty to conspiracy to hinder prosecution and received probation, a $160,000 fine, and community service. The United States Figure Skating Association then banned her for life and stripped her of her 1994 national championship title. In a matter of months, one of the most technically gifted skaters of her generation disappeared from competitive skating entirely. While Harding's downfall came from a violent scandal tied to sports rivalry, the next collapse would emerge from a story that investigators claimed never happened at all. Jussie Smollett. Before controversy surrounded his name, Jussie Smollett was widely recognized as one of the breakout stars of the television drama empire. The show premiered in 2015 and quickly became one of the biggest hits on American television, regularly drawing more than 15 million viewers at its peak. Smollett played Jamal Lyon, a gifted singer and songwriter navigating fame and family conflict inside a powerful music dynasty. The character resonated strongly with audiences and became one of the emotional anchors of the series. Smollett's performances earned praise from critics and opened doors beyond television, and including music releases and public speaking engagements. He often spoke about social issues involving race and identity, which further strengthened his public image as both an entertainer and an activist. With Empire dominating television ratings and expanding its audience around the world, it appeared that Smollett's career was only beginning to grow. As that trajectory changed dramatically in January 2019, when Smollett reported to police that he had been the victim of a late-night attack in Chicago. According to his statement, two masked men approached him on a street, shouted racist and homophobic slurs, placed a rope around his neck, and poured a chemical substance on him before fleeing. The story spread instantly across news outlets and social media platforms, drawing sympathy from celebrities, political leaders, and millions of viewers. Yet as Chicago police examined surveillance footage and interviewed witnesses, the narrative began to unravel. Investigators alleged that the attack had been staged and that Smollett had paid two acquaintances roughly $3,500 to help carry it out. The shift from victim to suspect happened with remarkable speed, triggering enormous public backlash. Prosecutors charged him with filing a false police report, and the production team of Empire removed him from the show's remaining episodes that season. The financial consequences soon followed. The city of Chicago filed a lawsuit seeking about $130,000 to cover police overtime spent investigating the case. What had once been a rapidly rising television career became overshadowed by court proceedings, legal costs, and intense media scrutiny. If Smollett's downfall showed how a single story can unravel a public image, the next collapse demonstrates how one message on social media can erase decades of success. Roseanne Barr. Few comedians shaped American television in the late 20th century as strongly as Roseanne Barr. When her sitcom Roseanne first aired in 1988, it offered something audiences rarely saw on television at the time: a blunt and realistic portrayal of working-class American life. Instead of glamorous homes and idealized families, the show focused on financial stress, ordinary arguments, and the humor people use to survive everyday struggles. Barr's sharp, unapologetic comedic voice became the defining feature of the series. For many viewers, she represented a voice for families who felt overlooked by traditional television narratives. The show dominated ratings for years and became one of the most influential sitcoms of its era, helping reshape how television portrayed middle-class and working-class households. Even after the original run ended in 1997, the cultural impact of Roseanne remained strong enough that networks believed audiences would welcome its return decades later. That prediction appeared correct when the series was revived in 2018. The premiere episode drew nearly 18 million viewers, instantly becoming one of the most watched television broadcasts of the year and outperforming almost every other scripted show at the time. For a brief moment, Barr's comeback seemed like one of the most successful revivals in modern television history. Then everything changed within hours. In May 2018, Barr posted a message on social media about Valerie Jarrett, a former advisor to President Barack Obama. The tweet was widely condemned as racist, and the backlash spread across the internet almost instantly. Networks, sponsors, and fellow actors responded with shock, and the television network airing the show acted quickly to distance itself from the controversy. Despite the enormous ratings success, the network canceled Roseanne within hours of the post. The decision stunned viewers because the show had only just returned to the top of the ratings charts. Although the story of the fictional family continued in a new series titled The Connors, Barr herself was removed from the production entirely. Yet the fall demonstrated how a single message could dismantle decades of influence and abruptly silence a cultural voice that once spoke for millions of viewers. Edison Chen. In the early 2000s, Edison Chen seemed to represent the future of Hong Kong entertainment. Born in Vancouver and raised between Canada and Hong Kong, he entered the industry with the kind of international background that producers believed could help Asian pop culture expand globally. His career began when talent scouts noticed him while he was still a teenager, and within a few years, he had signed with Emperor Entertainment Group. From there, his rise was fast and highly visible. Chen released multiple music albums in both Cantonese and Mandarin, building a strong fan base across Asia while simultaneously stepping into film roles that placed him alongside some of Hong Kong's biggest stars. His appearances in projects connected to the Infernal Affairs franchise helped establish him as a young actor capable of handling major productions. Beyond music and film, Chen's style and charisma turned him into a powerful marketing figure. Fashion brands, lifestyle companies, and advertising agencies competed to associate themselves with his image. At his peak, he appeared in dozens of campaigns and endorsements, earning millions through brand deals while maintaining a constant presence in entertainment headlines. That carefully built image collapsed in early 2008 when one of the largest celebrity scandals in Asian entertainment history erupted. Private photographs stored on Chen's personal laptop were illegally copied when the computer was taken in for repairs, and the images soon began circulating widely across the internet. The photos revealed intimate moments between Chen and several well-known actresses and singers from Hong Kong's entertainment industry. Once the images spread online, they moved rapidly across forums, social media platforms, and news outlets throughout Asia. The scandal quickly dominated headlines across Hong Kong, mainland China, Taiwan, and Singapore. Major brands immediately severed endorsement deals. Film projects were delayed or canceled. And several of the celebrities involved faced their own career crises as public attention intensified. Estimates suggested that Chen lost millions of dollars in sponsorships and upcoming projects almost immediately after the scandal broke. As public pressure continued to grow, Chen eventually held a press conference where he apologized to those affected and announced that he would step away indefinitely from the Hong Kong entertainment industry. In a matter of weeks, while one of the region's most recognizable young celebrities disappeared from its media landscape. If Edison Chen's downfall showed how the internet could destroy a celebrity's reputation almost overnight, the next collapse would expose a scandal that shook the entire global K-pop industry. Seungri. For more than a decade, Seungri stood at the center of one of the most influential pop music movements in the world. As the youngest member of the South Korean group Big Bang, he helped shape the global expansion of K-pop during the late 2000s and 2010s. Big Bang's music videos collected hundreds of millions of views online, and their concerts sold out arenas and stadiums across Asia, North America, and Europe. Within the group, Seungri became known for his energetic stage presence and his ability to entertain audiences on television variety programs. His outgoing personality made him a frequent guest on talk shows, while his ambition pushed him into business ventures beyond music. Over time, he invested in restaurants, entertainment companies, and nightlife venues, building a reputation as a young entrepreneur operating in the glamorous world that often surrounds pop stardom. To fans and industry observers, he represented the polished success story often promoted by K-pop agencies, a trainee who had grown into both a global performer and a successful businessman. And that image shattered in 2019 when a nightclub in Seoul called Burning Sun became the focus of a police investigation. What began as a report of violence involving a customer soon expanded into something much larger. Journalists and investigators uncovered allegations involving illegal filming, prostitution mediation, financial crimes, and possible connections between nightclub operators and corrupt police officials. Because Seungri had business ties to the club, his name quickly moved to the center of the investigation. As details continued to emerge, the story grew into one of the largest scandals in South Korean entertainment history. The controversy did not simply affect one celebrity. It exposed serious concerns about the darker side of nightlife culture connected to the K-pop industry and raised questions about law enforcement oversight. Facing intense public criticism, Seungri announced his retirement from the entertainment industry in March 2019. But the legal process that followed ended with a definitive sentence. He received an 18-month prison term after being convicted on multiple charges connected to the case. For many observers, the scandal marked a dramatic turning point that forced the Korean entertainment industry to confront issues that had previously remained hidden. If Seungri's fall revealed how an entire system can collapse around a single celebrity, as the next story demonstrates how one admission can dismantle a media empire almost instantly. Paula Deen. For years, Paula Deen embodied the warm, nostalgic image of Southern cooking on American television. Her rise to fame began in Savannah, Georgia, where she started a small, home-based catering service after struggling financially earlier in life. The business, called The Bag Lady, delivered homemade meals to offices and local customers. are quickly building a reputation for rich comfort food and friendly service. Dean's storytelling style and relaxed personality soon attracted media attention, eventually leading to appearances on television cooking segments. Those appearances opened the door to a larger opportunity with the Food Network, where she launched shows such as Paula's Home Cooking and Paula's Best Dishes. Her programs celebrated traditional Southern recipes filled with butter, sugar, and family stories, and audiences responded enthusiastically. Over time, Dean expanded far beyond television, publishing best-selling cookbooks, launching cookware and food product lines, and opening restaurants that attracted visitors from across the United States. By the early 2010s, her brand had become a multi-million-dollar empire built around hospitality, nostalgia, and comfort food. That empire began collapsing in 2013 when a discrimination lawsuit filed by a former employee of one of her restaurants brought unexpected revelations into public view. During the legal proceedings, a deposition transcript became public in which Dean acknowledged that she had used racial slurs in the past. Once the statement circulated through national news outlets, the response from sponsors and business partners was immediate. Companies that had once promoted her brand began distancing themselves almost overnight. The Food Network announced that it would not renew her contract, effectively ending her long-running television presence. Major retailers removed cookware and food products associated with her name from their shelves. Corporate sponsorships vanished within days, and financial analysts estimated that Dean lost nearly $12 million in pending endorsement deals and contracts within a single week. The speed of the collapse shocked many observers because her public image had been built over decades of carefully crafted media appearances. Within days, the chef who had once symbolized Southern hospitality became an example of how quickly public trust and commercial success can disappear when controversy reshapes a celebrity's reputation.